So if I'm wanting to purchase, what do I do now?
Okay, well, apart from signing the contract, you'll need to pay the 10% deposit. There may be some conveyancing costs with a solicitor, prepare the documentation and go through it all with you. At this point, that's all you need to spend.
What's the process to settle my property?
Once the property is ready to be settled, you'll need to pay the balance of the deposit. So we would recommend probably you'll get a notification at some point to say that settlement's only a short distance away. You would want to have your finance in place at that point so that everything is ready to go. And then on top of that, once you settle, there are some government charges and obviously the stamp duty that needs to be paid afterwards. So they would be added on at the end.
What's the expected completion time?
At this stage, we're looking at around mid-2021. So that's going to be middle of the year, 2021.
What are the other costs in addition to the price of the property?
Apart from your purchase price, at settlement you'll have some basic government charges and taxes. They're very basic, nothing fancy. And obviously there is your balance of settlement funds.
Is there a stamp duty applicable?
There is stamp duty applicable. However, for those purchasing right now, there are some savings can be had for purchasing at this stage of the development. So you'd need to investigate that yourselves.
And how is property titled in Australia?
Property titles are permanent and therefore it is ongoing with no end date.
From an investor's perspective, how is maintenance and repair being managed?
From an investment perspective, okay. So if you're leasing your property out, the general day-to-day maintenance of the property always falls upon the owner. However, if there was damage to the property, we'd highly recommend you have landlord's insurance. If the tenant has caused some sort of damage, you have a way of claiming it back again. Outside of that, the owner's corporation, for the areas that they control, they will be managing and looking after any other maintenance issues that don't pertain to the interior of the apartment.
What are the school zones?
There are two. Mount Albert Primary, believe it or not, I'm an ex-student from Mount Albert Primary. My son went to Mount Albert Primary, so I can highly recommend it. It's actually one of the top schools in their location, in fact, one of the top schools in Victoria. The second is the secondary college, which is Koonung Secondary College that my son went to, and I can highly recommend that. It covers a number of different areas in terms of education, including the arts, sport, academic, and it's highly regarded in the area.
Will my apartment be impacted by noise?
We have an acoustic engineer who is attending to that side of the building, and that includes double glazed windows, insulated walls, and other facilities.
What's the average rentals for this area?
Depending on the size of the apartment, so a one bedroom, for instance, could range anywhere from $370 up to $420 a week. Some of the two bedrooms start at $450 and go anywhere up to $550, and depending again on the size, could even be as high as $600 per week.
So who will be looking to rent my apartment?
That's an interesting question. Given the location and the type of employment facilities in the area, so we've got government buildings with the tax office, we've got the hospital, of course. You've then got educational facilities close by, and you've got a major Box Hill transport hub which services most of Melbourne. Your tenant could be from anywhere from a doctor, from a nurse, from anyone working at the hospital, from business people working close by in the government buildings. It could be students, it could be just local people looking for a quality building to be able to lease. Because of its location and because of the outlook, the views obviously are going to come into this. So it is an outstanding building in an outstanding location, one that's very hard to replicate.